Hi, I'm Brandon Mayer. I am the Mid-Atlantic Territory Manager with Zybex, and I am here today with...
I'm Gary Hill. I'm the Warren County Communications Center 911 Coordinator and Training Officer.
And today we got together here after we installed a project back in September, and we just wanted to kind of run through and talk about how this whole project came to life, start to finish, and all the different, hurdles and just, fine attention to detail that we had to comb through to make sure that this was a success.
Yeah, and a success it was. And when we first met was at a conference many years ago. I kind of got, I saw the way the sit to stand consoles worked, and it kind of intrigued me as to how we're able to do that. And sure enough, speaking with you and your design team, we were able to actually make it work in our medium-sized center. We're a 10-position center, and a lot of details involved that I wasn't aware of, that I had to learn a lot from. That's one big thing going into this, is that you are not just replacing consoles, you're replacing chairs, you're replacing fixtures, you're replacing some of the computer equipment as well. So it's all stuff that's got to be thought about when you're doing that. Maybe not always replacing it, but thinking about how that information is going to, how the logistics are going to fall into replacing the old consoles. And that was a big learning curve. But Zybex made it a lot easier because they have a large group of professionals such as Brandon here to walk us through every step of the way, and that made life a lot easier.
Absolutely. And you guys seem to have a clear direction on what you guys wanted, and it made working on this project with you guys that more seamless, that we kind of had the same vision in mind as far as what we wanted to do, and the layout for the most part wanted to stay the same, but just to make some improvements as far as operational flow to everything.
Yeah, and this was something that was definitely needed in our center. We haven't had an upgrade in our furniture since 2008, and let's face it, sitting in a chair for 12 hours a day is, they say now it's the equivalent to, other bad habits in life. And they have the ability for our dispatchers to be able to stand up, move around, feel more functional while still doing their job that they love to do. That's important. So if we can make them a little bit more comfortable while they're doing the job, that is so critical, then that's the least we can do for our people.
No, absolutely. And so since 2008, I guess what kind of led you to want to go with Zybex for the project, as you kind of did your market research and looked at other manufacturers as well?
I think the biggest thing is the customization of everything. The fact that we were able to literally either go from a very standard setup, or we could actually customize each step along the way, from the finishes to the size of the consoles themselves. We have the corner positions in each one here, but then we were also able to do straight consoles in 2 of the offices as well as backups, and just the overall ease of being able to build the consoles out from a bare bones console all the way up to top of the line console that has all the integrations of the heating systems, the cooling systems, that sort of things to make it a little bit more comfortable for the dispatchers, all the way down to the ergonomic lights, keyboard rests, and things of that nature. That when you take all those little steps to make it a better product for the employee, they appreciate that in the long run.
Big time. And you guys were going from older consoles that you could only, for the most part, sit at. I believe there was a keyboard part that could come up.
Yeah, we used to have a manual adjustable keyboard lift, but they did not last long at all. They ended up having to become a fixed in place furniture, and just didn't last long, didn't stand up as well. Seeing how this furniture is built, how these consoles are built, we can see that there's more ruggedness to it. This is equipment and furniture that's going to last a lot longer.
Absolutely. And now you have the dual surfaces too, that you can adjust both the monitor height and the keyboard height. So whether you are sitting or standing, your dispatchers here can actually adjust the monitors how they need to, whether they're standing, and obviously some people are taller, some people are shorter.
Yeah. I personally really enjoy that. I didn't notice it that much until I actually sat at the console, and my neck pain is gone now. Having the ability of having that roller vision, of being able to bring the monitors to you, that's a lifesaver also. And I see a lot of the people utilizing that, along with, a lot of times people will sit there and say, wait a minute, I'm going to have never thought about actually having the keyboard higher than the monitor shelf, but that's actually easier on the neck, easier on the eyes, and it makes it a lot more comfortable.
Exactly. Yeah, kind of that natural resting position for the neck, rather than have to crank your neck up to look at something, and then,
exactly.
Over time, it's not something that you really think about, but as you're working these long 12-hour shifts, sometimes maybe even more, it starts to take a toll on the body and just your attitude, and how the day goes on.
The other nice part about it, and again, looking at the logistics, the planning phases of going forward, you're going to want to make sure that you're thinking about, how many plugs you're actually going to need to control everything, the power for each individual console, the amount of amperage that you're going to need for the heaters, the adjustable hydraulics, that sort of thing. You want to make sure you have plenty of power for that, as well as additional clean power for your dispatchers to be able to plug in their laptops or phones, chargers, that sort of thing. You want to give them that convenience of having that stuff, and Zybex did a really good job of being able to customize a tray for our people to be able to charge their equipment clean and not having to plug into any of our equipment, and that's a big saving time.
Which is critical, and also a security risk in some factors, that you don't want to plug any personal devices into county devices, because that's basically creating a gateway right into something. So
exactly,
we were able to provide some dedicated power resources for charging devices, for bringing in your personal laptop, phone, stuff like that, and keeping it completely separate. And like you said too, with the overall planning, we had to take a look underneath the floor here to make sure that there was enough power to add the heaters, the lighting, the sit-to-stand desks, and we did a lot of, we had several planning meetings to make sure that everything would go swift, because we were on a bit of a tight timeline there too. There were a few revisions coming right down to the wire, just to make sure that the layout was exactly what Gary and Warren County wanted to the T. So, but we were able to come through and make that happen.
Yeah, the Zybex design team, top notch. I think we actually ended up going through about 19 revisions altogether.
I believe so.
They were always very responsive to that, and that was a big help too, because that kind of put myself, somebody who had never gone through this size of an upgrade before, it made it easier on myself, and I was more confident going to my director and saying, yes, we've made the correct decision on this. Yes, we know this is going to fit here. We know that's going to fit. Right down to even coming out and looking at the finish, all the different finishes that are out there, from the side panels to the desktop itself, to the fabric panels that are behind the monitors, making sure all of that was going to look correct and be more appealing to the eyes and easier on the eyes for the dispatchers, again, because they're here for a long time. So if it's easier for them to work on it, that's going to make their job a little bit better.
Big time. And this is something that when you upgrade your console furniture, it's not really something that you're going to do multiple times in your career. Usually maybe do it twice at the most, and you really want to make sure that you take the time. And I was thrilled to go through 19 revisions, because it means that we're really making this as perfect as it possibly can be for you guys.
Yeah. Also, the other nice feature that we were able to add into was the individual lockers for each of the PSTs. So this way they can come in and they had a secure place to be able to put their belongings, but yet they can still access it because it's right on the comms floor. So they were able to do that as well, and just planning that into it, making sure we had plenty of room for that. And again, Zybex stepped up to the plate and basically custom designed the lockers to fit our facility, so we can get the most bang for the buck.
Tell me about, how was the overall install process when the shipment arrived to our crew coming out here? I know you also had some other vendors involved, as old furniture was getting tore down and taken out.
Yeah, so that was another learning curve, the logistics of that, of the pre-planning, making sure that you have people to come in and either take down the old consoles, whether you do it through Zybex or you have your own people do it, but making sure that that's going to go smoothly, making sure that your radio and phone vendors or your computer vendors are here to, demo the old furniture, but yet still be able to bring everything back up online relatively quick. I'll be honest with you, in the beginning I was a little skeptical when you guys gave me the timeline of when it was going to happen, but to see how fast and how smooth your installers were, they came in, they knew exactly what they needed to do. We had a meeting with them and said, okay, this is our expectations. We both met and we both knew what needed to get done, and the installers worked nonstop the entire time. I don't remember them ever actually taking a break for lunch. Actually,
wow.
They just worked nonstop, and from our people coming in and making the floor patches on the carpet to building the new consoles. Everything worked as seamless as you guys said it would, and that was a blessing, because I was still waiting for there to be a big hiccup, and it really never came. It really never came. So that made my life a lot easier.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to hear too, as far as the feedback goes on installation, because this is a center that runs 24/7. We can't really afford to have any hiccups throughout the process, and have to minimize that to the fullest degree, just to make sure that these stations that are coming down are going to go back up live as soon as possible, so that we can keep moving through the room and not interfere with your day-to-day here.
Yeah, I mean, because at any point in time we had 15 different people doing 15 different jobs, and they all knew what to do, but the logistics of putting those people in order, so this way things were done in the correct order. Then at the same time, like you said, we're dealing with a live cutover.
Right.
It wasn't a new building. This was a live cutover. So we had one desk that somebody was just sitting there 5 minutes ago taking a 911 call. Now that console is being dismantled. That person is now working at another console that was just built and switching back and forth. So to be able to do that in a live setting, like I said, the pre-planning by our team, your team, that made all the difference in the world, and that's what made it a successful installation.
So all in all, how do you feel about the new furniture? Are you?
I absolutely love the new furniture. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from our staff on it. They're enjoying it. They enjoy the ability to, again, sit and stand. The finishes are really nice. It's appealing to the eyes. They love the backlit of the lighting itself on the console underneath. They enjoy having extra charging stations for their personal devices. And overall, it's been a very positive experience.
Thank you again, Gary.
Yes, thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure, and thank you guys for tuning in to check out this video. And if you have a project going on and need some help, just hit us up. We're always here.